Ladies and gentlemen, after 7 months of indecisive price action, after 7 months of neutral price action and constant debates in the cryptocurrency space as to whether Bitcoin is bullish or bearish or whether it's just neutral, Bitcoin is finally on the edge of glory. We have 2 days until the weekly candle close, and if we see that weekly candle close above 28.6k, I will finally come on this channel and say that Bitcoin is looking bullish. We're on the edge of glory, we're seeing nail-biting price action, and we need to get into that today. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay guys, before we get into the charts itself, we've got a lot to look at, by the way. We're going to get into the VIP group on Telegram. Now, this is the information and results VIP Telegram group. You can join this for free. It's kind of a precursor to the actual group itself. In this group, you will find the information, the pricing details, how to send a payment. You'll find the 14 to 30 day free trial membership, and you'll also find the results PDF, where I've listed every single trade we've ever taken in the VIP group, the details, has it been a loss, has it been a profit, and what percentage has it been a loss or a profit by. And you can see we have an 80.58% win rate, which is absolutely exceptional. Also on VIP, I wanted to quickly mention, we recently did a community post in the last 2 days, the last 48 hours-ish. We've done 2 trades on Loom and Big Time, both reaching 27 and 28% profit respectively within basically 24 hours of the activation. So big stuff on VIP. You're missing out if you're not in there. Go ahead and check that out. Let's get into the course, into the video content now. So there's many ways we can start out today's video, but I just want to start by making a clear statement. We have 2 days, okay, until the weekly candle close. 2 days, as you can see, weekly candle in 2 days. And right now, Bitcoin is actually looking pretty good. If we close the weekly candle where we are right now, Bitcoin will flip bullish, in my opinion. Now, that's an interesting claim. Okay, and I want to start by saying this. It's an interesting claim because we do have a lot of potentially bearish threats. For example, we have a very clear, very concise head and shoulders, okay, head and shoulders candlestick formation, market pattern forming on this chart that's been forming since around March this year. As you can see, head and shoulders, right shoulders formed here. We go back down to the neckline and we break below the 24.5k level, which interestingly enough is actually a very important level for Bitcoin, because 24.5k or around that level really is basically the bottom of this range, right? We have this range here between 32k and 24.5k. As you can see, we've ranged in that price region for around 7 or 8 months, and the neckline of the head and shoulders candlestick formation, or market pattern, sorry, I keep saying candlestick formation, is at the bottom of the range. So it's a very major support zone. And yes, we do have that bearish threat forming. We do have that topping pattern forming. But overall, we can't ignore every single other aspect of TA just because there's one market pattern forming. It's simply an irrational thing to do. We have to take everything into consideration. And that's exactly what I'm doing here when I say to you, okay, when I say to you, Bitcoin could be very bullish if it closes around this price point in 2 days. In fact, if it closes above, say, 28.6k, all right, which is the dotted red line on the screen here, a very clear dividing line for Bitcoin. If it closes above that level, all right, on the weekly candle in 2 days, I think the Bitcoin is actually going to flip considerably more bullish than bearish, okay? And I'm not saying that, you know, in spite of the head and shoulders, I'm saying that taking into account the head and shoulders, because I'm looking at everything all up. What am I looking at when I say that? I'm looking at, you know, the descending wedge on the weekly chart. I'm looking at the support line on the weekly chart RSI, descending wedge on the weekly chart RSI that we're breaking above right now. I'm looking at the fact that we have the bull market support band, you know, which we rejected for weeks on end, multiple retests, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weekly candle closes rejecting from that level. I'm looking at the fact that we'd be getting above that level again. And I'm looking at the fact, you know, historically that level has been an extremely important indicator for the long-term strength, macro strength of Bitcoin. Getting above that level has led to bull markets, literally bull markets. There's a reason it's called the bull market support band. You know, you go back to 2017, you can see it held throughout the entirety of the 2-year period from 2015 to 2017 to the top. It did the same thing in 2020 and 2021, and it could do the same thing once more. So I'm not just speaking randomly, just saying random things. That is a very big thing. Another thing is the Gaussian channel. If we manage to close here, okay, on the weekly candle, the Gaussian channel, which is very clearly defined, this rounding formation. Look at that nice rounding formation there by the center line of the Gaussian channel. Now, people could go ahead and say that, oh, this is a head and shoulders pattern where we're going to go down, or you could just apply a different perspective, and you could apply the perspective of this Gaussian channel. You could just say that the Gaussian channel, based on previous trends, because it's a moving average, has been inclined to curve in a fashion like this, right? And that has led to the market forming something resembling a head and shoulders, when in reality it's actually symbolizing strength. So I think that right now, if I was to be asked at gunpoint, right? I love using that analogy, at gunpoint, like that's going to happen, right? If Bitcoin is more bullish or more bearish, I would say Bitcoin is leaning towards a more bullish confirmation. I'm still on the fence. I'm still neutral, technically speaking, because we haven't seen the confirmation yet through the weekly candle. But it's certainly leaning that way, all right? It's certainly leaning that way. And if we go into things, this is where you can dissect it a bit further and go into things like the daily chart, right? What we've seen on a daily chart is Bitcoin, break above. Actually, let's go to this chart here. It's a bit more concise, a bit more specific, right? We've seen Bitcoin break above things like the POC, which is the point of control, the maximum kind of highest level of historical trading volume on the volume profile. So the biggest kind of resistance we had after rejecting from it 2 separate times, okay? We saw Bitcoin break above that level. Not only did we see a break, if you look very closely on the screen, you see us actually come up above it and flip it for support and head upwards further. So we've seen a very clean flip of the volume profile. And that volume profile, of course, was supported by the 200-day SMA, the green line here. Again, same scenario. We saw 2 very clean rejections from it. We got above it. We see a very clean flip. We move upwards. That's very, very good stuff to see. And the same thing could be said about the visually confirmed range that divides the macro range. So what I have on the screen here, let me explain it for you. Well, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Let me explain it for you. These 2 pink lines, okay, we have a pink line at 24.5K, pink line at 32K. You might remember those numbers. Those are kind of the defining lines of the range we've seen basically since March. We saw rejections from this range on 2 occasions back in 2022. We broke into the range in March, and now we've been in that range ever since. So the pink lines define the macro range. But within the pink lines, within the macro range, we see this red box. This is the no man's land of the range. So I've used this analogy before, I use it again. Imagine this is the Germans down here. Imagine this is the British. It's World War I. You have the trenches, okay, Germans in the trenches, British in the trenches, and then in the middle you have no man's land where no one is, right? That's what this zone is. It's a level, this red zone, that divides the line. It's a line in the sand, right? It's no man's land. So getting above that no man's land region after rejecting from it multiple times is a great step in the right direction. Now, I'm not willing, as I said, I'm waiting for the weekly candle close. The reason I'm waiting for it is because I'm not willing to jump to any conclusions about Bitcoin, given the fact that we need to be seeing the weekly candle close above this red box. Now, 2 days is not a very long time, but it is enough time for something to happen, especially considering we do have events happening in the next 2 days. For example, all right, we have this, which is just recently released. We have this tweet, okay, which says, Grayscale Investments is waiting for the federal court to formalize its win against the SEC. Now, we had, obviously, Grayscale apply for a Bitcoin spot ETF application. That application was ultimately rejected by the SEC. Grayscale basically disputed the rejection, and they won the case. And that court essentially, that action is going to be finalized, okay, between October 20th, which is today, or Monday. So either today or Monday, there's going to be a massive piece of news, a finalization of that action, and that could lead to Grayscale having an ETF approved. So this is today or Monday. So this is today or 3 days away, essentially. And that's huge, right? Because if we see a big action, if we see some sort of massive, news there, the market reaction could be huge. And we know that for a fact because we've seen just a few days ago, right, this fake ETF approval, which led to Bitcoin pumping 2,000 USD in less than 7 minutes, right? We know that the ETF is going to have a big effect on Bitcoin, not only in the long term, but in the short term. So we do have news coming out potentially today. And if that news is bearish, if it is a rejection or it's bad for Grayscale, we could see Bitcoin plummet in price quite quickly. And so for that reason, I'm not willing to jump the gun and say that Bitcoin's going to close the weekly bullish because I don't know yet based on that news. And also, if we're looking at where we actually are in Bitcoin, we're also at very strong resistance right now. Well, not very strong, but it's actually not very strong at all, really. I mean, but it is a resistance at 29.7K, as you can see that red line. And we're also at resistance on the daily chart RSI. Right now, we've kind of maxed down on the daily chart RSI. It wouldn't surprise me at all if we see a pullback. And if that pullback is exacerbated by the volatility that is caused by a news event such as the Grayscale SEC lawsuit or court case, whatever it is, then we could see a big dump on Bitcoin. So that's the reason why I'm not like jumping to a conclusion to say Bitcoin's bullish. I'm waiting for the weekly candle. And by the time we see the weekly candle, that news will hopefully be resolved. But ultimately, Bitcoin is doing very well. We have, and we can't deny that. We have October being green. Again, we've only seen 2 red Octobers in the entire price history of Bitcoin out of 10. And October is green by 10% this time. We've got 9 days left of October. It's looking very good. That's on par with the kind of cyclical trends in regards to October. We've got Bitcoin vastly outperforming any other asset in the year of 2023. You've got gold, stocks, and cash. The maximum there is gold, and that's up, up basically 12%. Actually, not gold, sorry. That would be stocks up 12%. I think that's measured by the DXY potentially. I'm not sure. But essentially, Bitcoin's up 82%, more than any of those assets there. So good to see Bitcoin doing very well, even in this year, which has been mostly sideways, to be honest. I mean, we've been sideways since March. So we only had 3 months to make the gains. We made vast majority of more gains than any other real asset class. So it's great to see Bitcoin doing very well. From that perspective, it's great to see Bitcoin doing very well from a monthly returns perspective. And look, there are things we need to look at. For example, next 2 days of the weekly candle close. For example, this brief resistance here at 29.7k. I don't think it's much of a problem if we close the weekly in a good spot. RSI on the daily. There's things to look at, but overall, I just want to reiterate the point I made before. If Bitcoin manages, to close this weekly candle above 28.6k, above this red box, all right, Bitcoin actually flips very bullish because we will enter the upper part of this range. And if we are in the upper part of the range, it is a logical step forward. It is the logical process for us to test the top of the range. And if we test the top of the range, we have to take into consideration that we've seen 2 tests of the top of the range before. And if we were to reject again, that would be a triple top. Triple tops do not happen at all. They're not really something that happens. They're very unlikely to occur. So it's more likely that Bitcoin actually breaks upwards on a 3rd retest of that resistance. So I believe that Bitcoin is edging towards being bullish right now, but it's still neutral. I believe things like Ethereum kind of support that. Ethereum's been on massive, downtrending support. Yes, it's been in a correction, but this is actually a correction in form of a descending channel formation, a descending parallel channel formation. And so we're holding support on multiple occasions here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separate support holds. Eventually, you're going to see a bounce. A good way to look at channel formations is to have a dividing line in the middle of a channel. That's usually how they work. And you can see that we've spent a very decent amount of time in the bottom half of the channel since August. We're very much due for a bounce to the top of the channel. And the same thing can be said about the RSI on the daily. We've got a very strong bullish divergence on the Ethereum daily RSI. Now, you might be thinking, well, Wolf, why are you looking at Ethereum? We're talking about Bitcoin here. Well, Bitcoin actually foreshadows what happens to Ethereum actually foreshadows what happens to Bitcoin quite regularly. It's done that a lot in the past. We've spoke about it a lot in the past, and it will continue to do in the future. Ethereum and total cryptocurrency market cap can foreshadow the Bitcoin price action in the same way that Bitcoin price action can foreshadow Ethereum and total cryptocurrency market cap, because obviously they're all connected. They all form similar market patterns, and if one of them breaks the market pattern, it becomes likely that all of them would as well. So Ethereum looks good, therefore Bitcoin looks okay. And we're still just, as I said, waiting for that weekly confirmation, but 48 hours is not a long time, guys. So tomorrow, I know I've had a short video today. It is a short video intentionally, because tomorrow I'm going to look into the shorter term price action. Tomorrow we'll have just 24 hours until the weekly candle close. By that time, we will have sufficient evidence from short term to determine whether it is likely or unlikely that we're going to be seeing a good close or not. So tomorrow I will catch you there with the short term analysis. But as for today, that's all I can say to you. Big stuff. Everyone should keep their eyes on this weekly. It really is nail-biting price action here, and it's good to see the market leaning bullish, but not confirmed yet. So, guys, thank you for watching. Before we end the video, I'm going to check out the Bingx and Bitget exchange, as well as the Crypto Academy. So, Bingx exchange, right? As you can see, 5,000 USDT welcome gift. Go ahead and sign up and get that. But we've also got, 5 times lower fees than Binance. We've got 15% trading fee discount for signing up using my referral link. We've got global exchange here. You can sign up from anywhere in the world with just an email address and a password. Check out the Bingx exchange. Use my referral link for rewards. And the same thing can be said about my referral link for the Bitget exchange. Rewards are very easily attainable here using my referral link. 15% trading fee discount. Multiple thousand USD in bonuses for doing various tasks. And then also we have to note that the Bitget exchange, unlike Bingx, is not global. This is not available to people in the USA and Canada, but it is available to everyone else, so go ahead and check it out if you're interested. Finally, Crypto Academy, guys. This is a course developed by myself and Megawell Crypto. He's another YouTuber and analyst in the cryptocurrency space. We made this course last year. It's called Become a Trader. And as per the name, if you do this course, you will become a trader. We have the bio, the description of the course. You can read up about what it actually is in depth, and you can read up what you actually get for the course in terms of what are the unit topics, how many slides are there, how many videos are there, to give you an idea of the actual the quantity and quality of content you'll be getting for this course. If you have any questions, throw us an email at cryptoacademycourses@gmail.com. And guys, without further ado, we'll end it there. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Cheers.